Okay. I believe we are live, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I believe we're live, so... Yeah, today is going to be a probably short stream. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not too populated. It's okay. It is mostly for me since I can't really go to sleep late tonight. So I figured I'd do some art because I haven't done some art, and you know what? Maybe some art that isn't game deving either. Just art, just to get used with Krita. I haven't done illustrations in a while, so I think this would be fun to do something with. Yeah. So, just getting this stuff set up. Yeah, we're just doing some illustrations today, or try doing some illustrations. It's been a minute. And we're going to see if my art brain can kick in. And maybe even do some pixel art if we can have some character art that I think looks nice and pretty cool. But it really depends. It really ultimately depends on what we even end up doing. It'd be kind of cool to do some actual HD rendering, or HD-ish rendering. I haven't done that in a while. Usually I do illustrations here and then bring those suckers into Aseprite and then do my rendering there. But sometimes I just want to do some rendering here. And realize I don't have my headphones on, do I? So I'm gonna pop these suckers in so I can at least hear how everything is, and hopefully it's not too badly mixed. It seems like it's mostly fine though right now, so I'm just gonna keep one earbud off and just go from there. And I'm not sure what I'm drawing right now. No intention, no prompt, no particular theme I have in mind here. Just drawing a character, I think. And seeing where that takes us. I always like doing this gauntlet kind of thing. I don't know why I always go to that. I have a character with like a gauntlet thing. Draw another character with this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we do something a little bit different. I don't know. Who is this gonna be? What kind of character do you want to have here? What type of person is this? I guess we're gonna find out little by little, right? Okay, so this eye shape seems more pensive, a little cynical maybe. Okay. Maybe someone industrious because she has her hair back and out of the way. That's still a bit wild, so it could be a liability, but who knows, maybe that's the compromise she makes. Maybe that's the compromise she makes. Right? Hey, Kiran. Always good to see you. How are you doing this lovely morning in your time, I imagine? Today's a bit unprompted. I usually don't. I like taking the weekends to just chill, cocoon, and think about what to do the next week, but today I can't sleep that well. I'm not feeling tired because I slept a little bit earlier today, so we're just taking a little beat to do some art. Yes, I am left-handed. I'm a left-hander. Quite the rarity. Yeah. Though it's not as rare. Like in the general population, it is pretty rare. Like it's usually like 10%. In the office, though, it's that I work at, it's a surprising number of people are left-handed. It's pretty crazy. But yeah. Okay, we have a character coming about. I'm not sure what her deal is. If she's a warrior or maybe an engineer potentially. I don't know. We're just getting the hands warmed up right now. Breaking off the little rust I have going on here. I don't know why I keep thinking of that gauntlet idea. It just keeps coming back. And arm connects like that. I haven't done arm studies in a while. I haven't done anatomy studies in a fat minute, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been really bad with my homework of doing anatomy studies. I haven't done a proper anatomy study in forever, man. Which is sad, because I actually like doing anatomy studies. They're always fun to do. And I just end up like neglecting them. Hey, Alien Bird is back. Let's go. Just landed straight from the Philippines. Glad to have you here, man. Today's more of an oddity. Maybe not oddity. I used to do just purely art streaming for a while. But lately I've been super code focused, which isn't bad. But I think I realized I've been wanting and needing a little bit more art, and I haven't done this in a while. And usually I'm doing art for a game, but I think I've been it's nice to take a break and just do art for the fun of art, for the fun of it, you know, for the sake of just art. But yeah, make yourself comfy. And today's an impromptu stream. I guess all streams have been technically impromptu, but usually it's less so of a surprise for me that I'm going to do it. You get some look into the art process. Art's always fun. Always enjoy it. I think, Bert, I saw you comment on the video I did about the principles of pixel art last night or the night before, and it made me realize, I haven't done art stuff in a minute. Like, actually, like I've talked about art, we talk about art theory and all this stuff, and that's cool, but when's the last time I've done something like this? Like, I think the last time I did was like promotional art for... The last HD art I did was promotional art for Crimson Crown, which I never... We're gonna have to get back to that game eventually. That's gonna be the second game I need to work on that's still in Unity. And that was way more cartoony. Where is it? Yeah, this one. Last one I was really happy with. Yeah. Did you do art school? I never did art growing up. No, I never did art school. Yeah, everything, all my art is self-taught. The most is I had someone who was kind of a mentor who, I mean, also didn't go to art school for any of this stuff, but he pointed me to some good things you can do. And then I started developing my understanding and kind of a classical approach to how you do art. And then when I meet with students, when I do mentoring, I usually kind of push them across a few different things. They're really like, you're gonna be, if you want to do good at art, like like, sure, art school is going to force you to do assignments to try to hopefully get you to get better at art, and hopefully zero you in on certain ideas. But ultimately, it's going to come down to your ability to perceive the difference between what you're doing and what you're trying to convey. But in general, though, I like the basic stuff is you do value studies for understanding light. There's anatomy studies, which is a nice way of getting you situated and understanding just how the body is composed and the different muscles and bones that make up the human body. And then from there, you have gesture studies. Because sure, you can have great understanding of anatomy, but if you're not good at gestures, all your characters are going to look like statues, very stiff. Gesture studies are how you add life and motion to your art. And of course, there's master studies. And this is super helpful for like crafting your own style, because you're going to be looking at art that you actually personally like and want to understand how it works. And then as you try to replicate the style of that master, you can start taking the elements you want to have from them. And of course, don't take the elements you don't want to take, right? But these are like the 4 major types of studies you can do that help you get better at art. And then of course, like the biggest thing here that limits growth is iteration. There's a lot of artists who get hung up on like they start a piece and they start spending so much time trying to make it good, trying to perfect it. But that's actually not great, especially early on. Instead, what you want to do is iterate as much as you can. And the reason I say this and I emphasize this, and this is like kind of a universal idea from art to games to programming, design, whatever. Whenever you start something, let's imagine a graph here together. We have a graph. Let's say this is like quality, and then the time it takes to work on it. When you start a project, your project starts off with a certain ceiling of how good it could potentially get. So if you're starting out for the first time, maybe this first piece you work on can only possibly ever get this level of good. Now you can spend a bunch of time on it, but you're never going to really break past that ceiling unless like you just completely delete it and restart it. But a magical thing happens, right? And in fact, maybe I'll use a different color. I think I'll use a different color to help emphasize this more. Yeah, hot pink or hot red, that works. So you spend time and then eventually you start approaching this invisible ceiling. The cool thing that happens though is that every time you do art, to work on a piece and you step back and look at it and then you start a new one, this ceiling of how good that piece can get starts increasing. Now, if you take a long time on your art, your opportunities for growing get limited because you're spending so much time and you're probably not getting the most marginal benefit from it. But if you do a bunch of pieces and iterate very quickly, the potential for you to start increasing your competency increases, assuming that you learn something from each piece. So that's why it's important to iterate like very quickly and not get so hung up and stuck in a cycle, because that's going to limit your opportunities for growth. Ceiling is negative. I need to start art stuff. Okay, and then you start there. That's how you start. I don't say it's negative. You don't know. We don't know. Maybe you're like the next Picasso. No, you're not next Picasso. Maybe the next Michelangelo. I prefer that comparison. You just have all this infinite untapped potential. We don't know. Maybe the first thing stroke you commit to the page is going to be beautiful. What's up, Agent Goose? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. By the way, we're also streaming on YouTube, so if you see me talking to non-existent comments, that's probably why. But yeah, right now you exist in that Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Or I guess in the superposition of either being like the greatest artist ever or the absolute worst artist. And because you haven't started doing art, we don't know which one you are. If you're great or you're bad yet. We don't know. Yeah. I should probably have a thing on screen to show comments, all the comments that pop up, but I kind of like how clean this overlay is. Very simple, not too overwhelming or bombastic. I don't know. But yeah, there's your little mini art lecture. Well, we'll never know, Kieran, but you're lucky. I might be the first one to ask your autograph signing the item. Let's go. Let's get pre-orders. Kieran, you should accept pre-orders for your first piece of art. I think that's what you should do. I think that's going to be such a great opportunity. Because we don't know. It's like the gambler's fallacy. Like, you know, we could lose everything the next hand, or we can win everything. But if you give up, if you leave the casino, you never know if you'll ever make it big. That's the same thing we're doing here. We don't know if we're witnessing the birth of a fantastic, amazing artist. And we can have claims over this stuff. Over autographs and the art and everything. You got a haircut since I last saw you. It's been a while though. Yeah, it's been. I started doing the clean shaven. I had the whole beard arc, which was fun. But now we clean shave. We cut my hair. Not that crazy. Supporting each other anyway. Yeah, exactly. I think we should start doing a Ponzi scheme. I think that's what we need to do. I think the gaming industry does not have enough Ponzi schemes. Simply do not have enough Ponzi schemes. And we're making handsome Squidward for some reason. I'm not sure what we're doing here. That's kind of boring. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm trying to go with this guy. Something familiar. Yeah, no. This expression sucks too. I'm here now. Oh my goodness, you switched teams. My first art piece can also be a stand-up comedy, guys. That's true. That is art. Oh my goodness, the YouTube squad. What a crazy time to be alive. So I have an issue, right? And I think it's important to reflect on it. I have an issue called same face syndrome. I like using the same kind of model for drawing characters. And I've tried to get past it in some places, especially with Messy Mansion. I've done things to kind of get away from it, but you know, at the end of the day, like, I draw a lot of faces very similarly, and it's partially due to the fact that I just haven't drawn, like, I haven't studied other types of faces. I almost feel inclined to just have a little study right now and just take, like, there's got to be a website somewhere where you can just get exposed to random pictures of people. Okay, this is different. We don't never do eyebrows the short way. Rounder shape face profile. Okay. Okay. Very different. Very different. And then what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do for this hair? What are we gonna do for this guy's hair? Okay. Okay. A little devilish little facial hair down here. A little pointy. Add some point to this. Maybe make him look like an acorn. Maybe we can go for the full acorn look and just give him like a bowl cut. The most devious of bowl cuts. Now that's a unique face right there. That's a unique face. That's a unique face right there. That's a hero. That's a protagonist right there, dude. Give him that Guy Gardner treatment. I'd be happy to support it. Isn't there a website called "This Person Does Not Exist" or something, and it's just random pictures? Oh yeah, it's like AI generated pictures. Yeah. That's a thing. This person does not exist. Is there? Please tell me. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. That's not a real person. That's not a real person. Style Jan Karas et al. I feel kind of uncomfortable with how close they are to my face. I feel a little uncomfortable. It's crazy how we've passed like the threshold for like we can't determine what's AI generated and what's not. It's just so convincing. Okay, we're gonna just keep going until we find someone that I don't know. I just feel so judged right now. Like I feel like I did something wrong, and these people are just looking at me as if I'm a train wreck. I feel very uncomfortable. Like look at that. She sees what I'm doing, and she's not happy with it. She's not pleased about this. She doesn't like what we're doing here. She does not look happy. She looks nonplussed. And that would be too if I was summoned to creation. Is there some weird AI stuff going on here in the lip? Maybe some AI artifacts? I can't tell. Okay. Maybe we work with this face. Maybe we work with this face. As a businessman. That seems like a man who's I feel like he's a man who likes gambling, but not with his own money, but with the retirement funds of elderly people. You know what? This guy, I feel like he needs a earring. He needs an earring. Yeah, that suits him well. That suits him well. He looks very young. Very young. Picture of you comes. That would be crazy. That would be insanely uncomfortable. That's when I start depersonalizing. Like that's when you start thinking, okay, clearly I'm in a dream right now. I'm not awake. Clearly, either reality is a simulation and it's falling apart, or I'm asleep and I haven't woken up yet and I need to wake up. Okay, what is this guy gonna wear? What is this guy gonna wear? What is this guy gonna wear? We could, like, I can right now imagine like maybe a gi type situation. Like that seems fine and that seems like normal, but I think we should go. I think we should go a little not normative. I say that this guy has popped collars. Yeah, buddy. Popped collars. Popped collars. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Splendid. And you know what? Even though he seems plump around the face, but you know what? Nah. This guy's ripped. This guy's actually freaking ripped, okay? He's gonna have that Dragon Ball Z type proportions. Look at that collarbone. Look at that. You can do like... How do we want to do the pectorals? You can do like striations like this to show like where the attachment happens. Yeah, popped collars. A few buttons unbuttoned. Okay, it looks weird right now. We're gonna figure something out. We're gonna make this. It's gonna happen. It's gonna work out. Okay. We're going somewhere with this. He's kind of look like. He almost, he reminds me of Josuke a little bit. The way we're drawing him. They both have some stuff in common, like weird haircuts and being a little buff, oddly buff. Especially Josuke, because he's in high school. Or the samurai look. See, I was thinking that. I was like, the samurai look that feels like the option I should have gone for. It feels like the most appropriate one. But sometimes you want to be a little adventurous. Or you know what? Why limit him? Why limit him with clothing? Why even limit him with clothing? He just has his peak form. He just squash. That's just him. That's his form. That's who he is. I think we stumbled upon perfection. I think we perfected the man. All right. Nah, but I think a little plus size. It's amazing how like head proportions, like using heads as the unit for measuring other parts of the body can really change your perception of scale and size. When I discovered that was like crazy to me. Mr. Peanut, yeah, he became Peanut, Pickle Rick, who knows? He does not look, he looks happy. Actually, one second, let me fix my camera. That's gonna keep happening because, because of tax reasons. Okay, we're gonna keep refreshing. I wonder if it's generating or if it has like a pre-populated database with all these people. Because it's taking a while to load this, so I'm almost thinking this is generating stuff on the fly. If so, we're currently raising the sea levels with how much processing these server farms are doing. That made me feel uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Weirdly enough, there's a bunch of different types of faces, but like we haven't seen a thick dude here, have we? We haven't seen like a heavy set dude. Like everyone's been pretty lean, a little pretty skinny. This guy does not look. He does not look present. How would we adapt this guy? How do we adapt him? Greg is his name. How do we deal with Greg? Guys, how do we deal with the Greg situation? The Greg situation is pretty pressing, man. We see it all over the news. Like, sure, you hear things about, negotiations with, I don't know, with the U.S. and Russia and all this stuff. But really, when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, what's going on with the Greg situation? I need to know what's happening with Greg. I feel scared. I can't sleep at night until we figure out what's going on with Greg. And this is going to be a situation where it's not going to be great. They always lifts a bit of muscles in their faces. Yeah, Greg is a college professor. He does look like a college professor, actually. He really does. That's exactly what... hello, Mr. Spider. He really does look like a college professor, in all honesty. He feels like an English professor. I can see that. I can see that. He looks like a man who surrounds himself with books. Now it's a matter of figuring out how we deal with proportions and what we try to make abstract and what we try not to. It's a head-on picture too. Those always suck. You lose a lot of depth information with the face-forward pictures. Meow, meow. The angle's too steep, a little, or too light. We're gonna make it a little steeper. The balls and the nose are right there, and then the nostrils over here. You got your eyes right here, pal. And then there's a little angle there. The eyes should be actually more here, I think. There we go. I think I got the position, kind of. I don't know. We'll see. And then the brows are gonna be somewhere around there, and then his hairline's all the way up there, and it's pretty straight, but a little receding. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. It's happening to me. It's been happening to me. It's the one constant in life that affects everyone. Every guy, at least, or most guys, let's say. The balding. The baldening. And he's got that little... Yes, exactly him. It looks exactly like him. See, the thing I suck with is expressions. Facial expressions. Really mimicking the feel, the subtleties of the human face. Always little things that we miss here and there that sell that expression. You know? Like not only the creases here, but also like the little stuff, like the little creases that happen here. You know, honestly, I love watching, looking at, you know, if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, there's that guy, not Jesse, what's his name? Joey. And yeah, there's that meme of him where he does that smile, that little devious looking smile. And, when you look at that picture, that meme, it kind of amazes me how much is going on in that smile. Like how many different things are in that expression. Okay. I'm losing the sauce a little bit here. Losing the picture. It's okay. He's got the little butt thing in his nose. You know what I'm talking about? Like that little... You have like the nose and there's like a little divot there that no one really points out but exists for some people and not for others. I've never seen anyone really point that out. Like you hear about butt chins, but you never hear about butt noses. Okay. Yeah, the teeth I'm messing up right now. He has a lot more of an expression going on here. Okay, I think we need to do the eyes. That's the soul. That's the soul of Greg. Right now we're dealing with the ghost of Greg. We want to have a soul of Greg here present. So we're going to move this over here so we can have him always watching us. Never away. Just always slightly out of reach. It'll be kind of fun to have get 5 pictures from this website and then go on the street and try to find someone who looks really close to that. I feel scared. I feel the picture already staring back at me. Not only him, but my own art. Look at that. I feel uncomfortable right now. I feel unsafe. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel a little unsafe. I feel a little unsafe. And then drawings have an extra level of uncanny because there's no color information we're working with here. Like it's just sketches. It's just So there's like a little there's a little thing that just a little uncanny valley that emerges because we're missing information and it feels weird. I feel unsafe. It's not great, man. I don't feel comfortable at all right now. The more I work on this. Oh, it's just gonna get worse and worse the more we work on him. Okay, the eyes are coming in a little bit. They're coming a little bit. They're doing some work. Doing some work. Doing some work. If I want to, I could try outlining value groups to try to sell this, but yeah, I feel unsafe, man. Let's go. Let's not go, dude. I feel unsafe right now. Okay, and then you had the wide chin down here. The thing is, there's like this odd thing we play around with in any kind of art, which is the balance between abstractions versus photorealism. And usually art is somewhere on the spectrum when it comes to those ideas of abstraction and photorealism, and it's like the balance you make. And in fact, that kind of defines some that's like the most defining part of people's art styles. And usually why this kind of looks uncanny is because we're kind of abstracting some things but also keeping some things in, and it doesn't feel quite right. Like we're omitting lighting information. So maybe if you want to be a little bit more accurate, you can try like maybe cross hatching or stuff like that to fill in some of that lighting information, but at the end of the day, it's an abstraction. I see in 2-inch gap in my bedroom doorway. yeah. That's exactly it, dude. Well, that's exactly it, Morgan. Like, this is uncanny in one way because we know, it's a context, we know that he isn't real, and that this is just AI. This is a different type of, this is man-made horror. Bona fide man-made horror. That just doesn't quite, there's something about it, man. Like, there's something, like, you have Victor Frankenstein, not Victor Doom. You have Frankenstein being terrified of his own creation. Actually, I don't know. I never read the book. I have it there. I should probably read it at some point. It's just that you see me, the creator of this abomination, also feeling fear. Feeling fear, terror at what I've just done. Like, my hands did this. I didn't wake up today thinking I was going to do this, but this is what happened. I didn't ask to do this. It was thrust upon me. I think part of what makes him look extra soulless is the fact that his eyes are a little they don't have that glint in them that he does in that other photo. Maybe you could rectify that. Just add a little. I'm not sure if that's going to help out at all, honestly. I think we're just adding more fire to the flame. I think we really want to add fire to this. We put it right in the center. First of all, we have to make opacity way higher. We put it in the center. That looks kind of uncomfortable. Remember when we were doing like more anime characters? The real world scares me a little bit, man. Like, I have to do the thing where we just put it on the side just to make it seem less uncomfortable. We're sacrificing reality just for our own safety and comfort and well-being. And this eye's a little bit too open. I hope you guys have a partner, like it's somewhere near you that you can feel some comfort, some safety in. I don't. I'm just alone in my basement right now as we do this. Work on his third divorce, watching Sharon take the kids just like Karen and Mary. Yep. This is the look of a man who lost it all in the custody battle. This is the face of a man who knows he's not going to be able to retire because half of it went to Sharon, and he's going to be spending the rest of his life making child support payments. The kids who don't love him. An ex-wife who hates him. And a job that just does not pay the bills. Being an English professor just does not cut it these days, guys. Being an English professor just does not cut it. His lips look so devious. It's like he's biting his lips. He's like, like he has plans for us that we are not privy to, and maybe we should never be privy to. I think he has plans for his post-divorce arc. I think that's what's happening right now. He's got some plans for his post-divorce arc that we may or may not consent to. Either way, man, I think everyone here needs an adult. I think we all need adults right now. All right, Greg. The Greg lore goes crazy. The Greg lore goes crazy. That's getting dark. Great storyline. Like an old Teen Wolf. Wait, what? The old Teen Wolf? What is that? I'm not privy to that reference. You know what? His head is... I have like the proportions a little bit wrong here. This is so... Okay, we need to add some wrinkles because it feels a little too... His face looks a little too clean. It doesn't capture the divorce. It doesn't capture the custody battles. It doesn't capture enough of that. We need to have that. Greg needs that. That's just the Greg lore. That's critical to the Greg lore. He's not Greg without the Greg lore. There we go. That's looking like Greg. And his eyebrows go down here too. He's got a little messy eyebrows. It's okay. That's what makes Greg Greg. Just goes Bigfoot hunting. He became such a fan of Bigfoot ASMR streams. Oh my goodness. Yeah, little did you know, Greg, he actually has like a pack of beef jerkies in that photo. Like if you had it go down a little bit more, you'd see the beef jerkies on him. The one with Michael J. Fox movie in the 80s or 90s, the Teen Wolf. Wait, let's see this. Oh my goodness, Vim, please work with me. Teen Wolf. Oh, I had caps on lock. Wait, what? You said 80s, 90s. Wait, what? This is even more what? I like this lore. I like this lore actually. I like this lore. Wait. All right, we have to reimagine Greg. This is like the accurate Greg, but now we have to morph him into the vision we have for him. Because we have a vision now. A vision is starting to take shape here for our newfound friend Greg. In fact, let's bring down the opacity a little bit because we're gonna start envisioning what Greg may look like here out in the wild. And here's where the gesture studies start coming into play. Or you know what? Wait. Before we get ourselves, let's think more. Let's imagine a little bit. Before I draw the face, let's just think about what kind of pose this SCP is gonna take. Okay. Okay. I'm starting to see a vision, guys. I'm starting to see a vision here. Starting to see a vision here. Manifold. I'm starting to see something. I'm not sure if it's a good something, but we're seeing something. I see the resemblance. You see the resemblance? Yeah. Yeah, there's some Gregory happening afoot here. I have a friend named Greg. I wonder how he'd feel if he learned about this unfolding lore that's happening around him. No, not size. I want opacity to be up. Okay, so we have this. Okay, let's try to keep. Our goal is to keep the likeness here. The goal is to keep the likeness. We have to keep it very accurate to him. So, of course, we have the correct nose size. Of course. No abstractions at all. No abstractions at all. Purely just describing what we saw. The subtle smile, the teeth, the little thing he has going on with his chinny here that I don't really fully comprehend. Of course, very tame eyebrows. Very tame eyebrows. Picture perfect. It's just like him. It just resembles him. It's like your mom's Greg, Like, it's the Greg I remember growing up seeing. Of course. I'm glad this is not a real person. Because there'd be a person out there somewhere who has this lore attached to him and this whole art piece dedicated to him that he will never be privy to. Okay. Our boy Greg got caught mid-snack attack for shame. Well, you caught him snapping into a Slim Jim, alright? You can't fault the man. You can't fault the man when he's snapping into a Slim Jim. That's what I'm trying to say. In fact, I feel like now he has to be drooling. But he's not moving. He's just stalking his prey. It's like the saliva is like... It's just kind of pooling there a little bit. Maybe dripping off a little bit. I wanted to make beautiful art. That's what I wanted to do, is do something beautiful today. To really get the inspiration going. And I believe we achieved that. I believe we're achieving this ever so slowly and surely. And then, of course, we got to do the anatomy. I think we have to give him like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing where like his body is furry, but his arms are are really clean for whatever reason. I think that's the requirement here. I think that's what's crucial. What's truly needed. He's gonna have one short finger. He's gonna have two short fingers. That's just Greg anatomy. That's just Greg anatomy. Don't question it. That's Greg anatomy, guys. Didn't you learn about this in Greg 101? Greg anatomy. Really hulked out, lean arms. Two messed up fingers. I mean, this is the prime kind of anatomy you want to have when you're snapping into a Slim Jim. The Pharaoh Greg. You saucy bitch. Painting the fridge while my back was turned on me, defenseless lord. Who's this lovely portrait? This is Greg. This is Greg, a guy who now exists because of us. We summoned him into heavily inspired by Dark Ages artworks. I love this. Yes. Honestly, that's exactly what it is. Like, have you seen this classical European depictions of cats? Renaissance pictures of cats where they look like people a little bit. Like that. Please open up. There we go. Like this beautiful art movement. That's exactly what we're trying to tap into. Hard for me to do. It requires good finger control, deep imagination to be able to achieve that image. So amazing what you're doing. I appreciate Bird. Bird, I appreciate that you see I appreciate that you see that imagination here. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love doing meme drawings. Meme drawings are beautiful. And then we're gonna have this area be well, we're not gonna get into that yet. I want to leave how Greg's reproduce a mystery. I don't think anyone's prepared for that. Alright guys, and here's a little anatomy lesson. We have the thighs here, we have the kneecaps, we have like the little divot here for the knee. You have the sartorius muscle that goes over the quads. Only the best, the most accurate of anatomy for depicting Greg. And of course, these three little tendrils that jut out. Is this furry art? Like I just considered that right now what we're doing. Is this furry art or is this creepypasta art? I hope it falls into the category of creepypasta. I didn't imagine today that I would hop on here and do furry art. And yet here we are. Here we are doing dubious creations. I don't know how the paws of a dog look like. That's good enough. I think they have like this little gap here at the joint and then yeah. Jellicle cats of the mid-age. Yep. Angelical. The cat needed to pay the taxes. Yep. That was a whole person. This cat is a whole person. Okay? If this cat was made today, it would have a social security number. It would be paying taxes. It would be a member of society. No, this is just good. Maybe I should do Dark Ages. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is exactly it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the types of creations that I wish to tap into. Beautiful. Reminds you of what Manny Pacquiao has. Manny the Pac-Man Pacquiao, the greatest boxer in the world, in my humble opinion. Manny, there we go, the man, the myth. Let's look at this man's calves as we do our furry art. Look at that. Splendid. Splendid athleticism. Yeah, they're crazy, man. Crazy. Crazy. Man's fast. Oh, man. I'll never... Yeah. We got that Manny Pacquiao. Well, he needs to have that endurance when he's actually chasing down the Slim Jims. Which, by the way... A wild Slim Jim. Just out here. Out in the wild. Easy pickings. Just hanging out here. It doesn't even know that it's prey yet. It doesn't even know. It's just hanging out here. It's reading the newspaper. It doesn't know what's happening. He's reading about Pacquiao's last fight. Is he retired? I don't know. Either way, he doesn't know what's coming for him. He doesn't know what Greg's got in store for the man. You need to give the bolder outline here to really define Greg's beautiful silhouette. This feels like a creature from Berserk, in all honesty. This really does feel like a Berserk creature. I should start having permission slips for my streams. Like, you guys have to ask your parent for permission, and I need to see signed forms before you're allowed to join in. He looks like he's doing this. No, he has mal-developed fingers that evolved to enable him to do better Gregory. Okay, you know what? There's a step we can go above here to really go into the meme route. We're just gonna do a little something something. We're gonna just do a little something something. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a little thing we can do here. Where is it? I need to learn more about Clip Paint Studio. Oopsie. Oopsie. Properties. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Have some lighting happening here. Little does Mr. Slim Jim know. Little does he know the Gregster is after him. A wild Slim Jim is a wild Slim Jim reading the newspaper. One would say the Slim Jim is a skim Jim. Oh my goodness, that's EU permission slip. Yep. That's a good one. What is it? God, we have geniuses in our chat. Morgan, I can't believe you just had that off the cuff. That's crazy. Did you happen to catch my 30-minute development challenge animation from yesterday? No, you did not. Did you post it somewhere? Please share. Please share the work you did. I'd love to see it. Guys, SFM2 in chat, my boy Terrell. Amazing animator. Amazing animator. Every time I see his stuff, he makes me genuinely geek out in a way that I haven't done for other types of games or media, honestly. A fat minute. I still remember the one with the airship, like the flying sequence. That was like, that legitimately. Like, I know you're always you're an animator, but that, for me, when I saw that animation, that just puts you like, okay, you actually know what you're doing. You're doing something. And not even that you know what you're doing, you can achieve something awesome. Like something that genuinely, if I didn't know you at all, I would genuinely be a fan of. Alright, beautiful. Look at that, look at that. Fear. The terror. And then if you want to really go for dramatic effect, we can add a little white. Yeah, let's use the dramatic lighting. We're gonna go for like, yeah, that color. Oh wait, we're gonna make a new layer, because of course we're gonna go try hard on this. New layer under this layer, because of course, how can we not go try hard for a meme, a goof, a gaff? Maybe have some of it highlight here too. Yeah, so now it's not just a shadow that's being cast, it's a very scary light situation here. A little devious, foreboding red silhouette that's appearing, or a light source that's casting onto. Yeah, we have to do this after. DM it to you after yesterday's stream, but file is too thick. Tragic. Tragic. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Okay, guys. I think we're going to stop here with Greg. We're going to stop here. I think we went above and beyond. But we can always go more. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem, is you can always go further beyond. Plus ultra. Yeah. Like look at this. We can have the saliva be white. The saliva. Oh, look how that just sticks out. All of a sudden, this feels even more ickier. Jeez. Calm down, man. It's just a Slim Jim. This 50 years from now, here we see the interesting self-portrait of the artist. Oh, tragic. And yet so true. Because you know what? I have Slim Jims upstairs. I may just go upstairs and grab one. We got Shadow the Hedgehog at home. This is the Shadow the Hedgehog we have at home. Alright, guys. Feast your eyes upon this. We're saving this. Pictures. Yeah, I guess it's art. Art_1. We'll save. He's ready for his prey. Speaking of prey, let me go grab my Slim Jim. 1 second.
Ooh, yeah. The cream always rises to the top. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I'm about to slap into a Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah.
Rest in peace, Macho Man. The lore is accurate. The lore is accurate. Just gotta make him bend over a little bit. And he's just like... It's just like the image. It's just like the image. I'd Greg out for a Slim Jim right now. I would Greg like crazy, dude. Me and the boys, we Greg off like crazy to Slim Jims. It's insane how much we Greg to it. I can't Greg enough, man. Also, if you haven't noticed, that's why we have a split keyboard here, so we can have our designated Slim Jim station right here. Ease of access. Very ergonomic. Wow. I like how you see this devolution that happens here from nothing tops him. Like, I know this is a meme, that's fine and everything, but nothing tops the energy I get from looking at this. From this genuine intent at making capturing the essence of this image. Gregnant. Mom, I have news. I'm Gregnant. Oh, imagine being married to someone named Greg. You can say that. I'm not pregnant. I'm Gregnant. I'm sorry, Mom. I wasn't using Greg control. In the Greg of the moment, I wasn't thinking about Greg control. And sure, he can try Gregging out, but we're trying to start a Greg together. All right, guys, let's just do some normal art now. How do we move on? Where's my drawing? Oh, there's my tablet. There's my pen. How do we move on from perfection? How did Michelangelo move on after completing the Sistine Chapel? Or Da Vinci when he finished the Mona Lisa? I don't know. I guess, guys, we have to go into the alcoholism arc. That's just what we have to do. That's like obligatory, right? Like once you do all the things you intend to do in life, that's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go into the alcoholism life. Like even if you don't have a problem with that, even if you're not actually depressed or sad, you just have to do it. You're forced to. That's the law. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that I don't know why we're ended up drawing Jimmy Neutron here. From memory. It's not my fault that you have to hit the bottle once you make it in life. That's just the tax you pay. That's not Jimmy Neutron. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what we concocted. But primordially awe-inspiring. This is what Gary Vault tried to be in Fallout 3. Who's Gary? I played Fallout 3. What was that? But I played it when I was like in middle school. Not middle school. Maybe early high school. I can't remember. Was he the guy like trying to doing experimentations with life forms and stuff like that? I can't remember. I know there's that guy who's like making. I think he had like trying to make a perfect life or something. Oh, this is very Ape Escape. Yeah, this is Ape Escape coded. I was thinking like Simpson. Marge. Like Simpson has that weird mug thing that I never understood as a child. Like I didn't realize that's supposed to be facial hair. I just thought Simpson was this weird monkey creature that just no one bothered to mess with no one bothered to question because everyone in Springfield is orange, or not orange, yellow. So, why start there? But yeah, I'm. This is very perplexing. I think I need to make the eyes bulge out more. You know how like they have like, what is it? Not Pergies. What's the dog? Pugs? Yeah, Puggies. Pugs. How they like? If you look at how those dogs used to be, they look like regular dogs, and then slowly but surely we've been modifying them generation after generation until they're this monstrosity that can barely live or survive or breathe just because we think it's cute. And that's what this feels like. We took Jimmy Neutron, fused him with Homer Simpson, and then just started going to town on just making their existence as terrible as possible. Yukiki Neutron. The Gary Vault was a cloning facility, but it went wrong as usual, and all they did was make a bunch of Gary. Wait, what? Wait, what? I should have bought Fallout 3 during the sale. I'm so mad at myself. I should have just done it. Actually, no. I just want to see Gary. Clone. Human Citizen Squad. There's a card game for Fallout? I always wonder how that would work out. Having clones of yourself. Like, yeah, they say, oh, we need to have diversity in life because, you know, no one person's complete, and you know, you just gotta have differences out there so we can complete each other. But I say that's just a hypothesis that's been untested. Like, if I was Supreme Emperor of the world, I would totally have an island where we say, okay, guys, we're going to allow genetic cloning. And we're just going to populate this island with these clones. And we're just going to see what happens. That's science, right? I like this guy. He's growing on me. Surprisingly enough. Oh my gosh, look at my pug. He's so cute. Pug, actually, Rebecca, I can't breathe. Yeah, it's insane what they've done to pugs. I'll never forgive them. They're trying to fix it now. But it's not the same. Yeah, like this, that is, dude. Look at this. Look what they took away from them. Look what they took. And that's a pretty healthy looking pug, honestly. That pug still looks like it can breathe. I've seen pugs that just feel so like they're struggling just to live. Just to see. Like, look at this guy. Look at this poor dude. Nose jobs, yeah. Of course, because they had a perfect nose, then we like made it unperfect, and now we have to have plastic surgery to undo some of the things we did. That's rough, buddy. That's rough. I like the medieval pug art, yeah, but in reverse. That's crazy how much of a normal dog it looked like before. Yeah, here's a diagram if you want to see more of this stuff. Slim build. Dang. It's kind of crazy. We have, I mean, okay, the modern day Pokemon is just animals in general. But the closest thing to that
are like dogs, because there's so many different breeds of them with different personality and traits and abilities. It's kind of nuts. There's an actual Pokédex for dogs. It's pretty astounding. Like, I was interested for a season of potentially maybe getting a dog, because, you know, that's what you do when clearly there's not enough responsibility in your life. But whatchamacallit. But yeah, I started realizing, oh, there's a bunch of different types of breeds with pros and cons and benefits, and have significant changes into my kind of lifestyle. Because there's some dogs that require X amount of time outside, and there's other dogs that are not as much, and, you know. Okay, this girl or boy? This is a question we face here, guys. Girl or boy? This is gonna make or break us, alright? Either the decision's either gonna have us have an entire fandom dedicated to them for all the wrong reasons, or they will be forgotten to the annals of history due to being just another guy. And as we decide, I think it's time to okay, light the candle. No, I put out the candle. That was a little close. Burl. Goy. Burl. I need to dispose this safely. 1 second. Alright. So I see we're doing a Borl, so we'll just do that. In fact, I think really... You know, sometimes I like to take a little Slim Jim just to get the edge off, you know, just... Okay. Just do what Disney and Marvel do. Make them both. Of course, the classic. Why not both? So here's what we're gonna do. There's gonna be a button. They're gonna have a switch. So they exist in, again, another superposition, and there's a switch back here, and that's how you flip between them. All right, I think we're gonna make a guy. I think we need to have more annoying guy characters. Like, have you seen the Polar Express? There's that kid who's in that's just super, like, I don't think he means to be, but he's just kind of super annoying. And I can't think of the last time I've seen really annoying characters like that. Like, annoying where it's not... Like, they're just annoying because they're just unlikable. And he is kind of unlikable. But I don't know, he's annoying in a way that's like, oh, I've known people like that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's characters that are annoying, but they're annoying because, like, what their actions just make no sense. But there's characters that are annoying because, like, that's who they are. Like, they're doing something annoying, but you understand, like, oh, that's just how they are. That's the person. That's who they is. Trains, dude. He does have kind of like a conductor cap, doesn't he? Alright, we're gonna make him... These are his eyes. Okay, that's like weird positioning. Alright. What are we gonna do with him? What are we gonna do with him? Oh, this hair makes him look too soft. No, that's we can't have that. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. I guess buzz cut might be the way to go. Make him feel very robotic. I guess that's also an option. Just make the guy a robot. Just make him a robot. That solves the whole gender question, right? The whole the option there. If he's a robot. Oh, he looks like Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like a young Eustace. Weirdly enough. Bald him as punishment. You've been cursed with bald. That is your punishment. You be bald. Yeah, I feel a little uncomfortable with him. If we want to be really uncomfortable, we can like do this, but we do this. And add more teeth before I accidentally create like a stereotypical thing. That's not what I'm doing. See, that looks uncomfortable. I feel unsafe with that. Why do I keep doing this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? His hairline disappeared faster than I fathered. It's a progression, alright? It's a progression. We start with Greg, who had a decent, strong, bold hairline, to Jimmy Neutron, Monkey Jimmy, who had a receding hairline, to now just a non-existent hairline. In fact, we want to be really weird. We can have like male pattern baldness on this child. But nah, doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel quite right. Back then it was hung. What? Oh, hung, drawn, and quartered. Okay. I don't know why I read that as like you draw them hung. I was like, what is, like hanging from something or? But in modern life, bald and fate worse than cringe. Yeah. Well, back in the day, there's a solution to not being bald, and it was called dying in your 30s and having a life expectancy that was lucky to be in the double digits. That was a great way to make sure that you never went bald. But you know, dang it, our life expectancies went up, and now we have to fix the music. What's up, Max Cubing? I believe that's a better way of saying that name. You stumbled onto a very interesting stream today. A very interesting one, to say the least. He kind of reminds me of Dale Gribble a little bit. Do we give this guy authority? Because this is turning from like a kid to like a dude who just looks uncomfortably proportioned. Yeah, he's gonna have a vest, but it's gonna be a loose fitting one. Get the... No. That's not what I meant. I mean, it was, but like you never hear that phrase, hung, drawn, and quartered. I haven't heard that in a long time. Okay, so sorry that my memory lookup table just went to the wrong side of things and drew incorrect conclusions. It's not my fault. You're doing this psychic damage to me in my brain with these thoughts of psychic warfare you're doing on me. Xavier from the X-Men. I saw an interesting thing not an interesting thing. It's a little theory someone came up with. They were like, hey, what if he's wearing the helmet not because he wants to not have his brain scrambled by Professor Xavier, but he doesn't want to feel his kindness. And that's a nice thought. But then you also remember that Xavier could lobotomize anyone. Like, isn't that crazy? We never really think about that too much, but it's kind of a terrifying prospect that someone could lobotomize you and you wouldn't even know they did that to you. You wouldn't even know. How do you operate around that? How do you, like... You know what I'm saying? Like... Okay, the body's looking weird. Because I didn't know what I was going for here. Alright, maybe we do another iteration. Sketch it. Quick sketch. We're going to do a RPG kind of rendering of this character. Just to see how he looks, just at a glance. And then we can go back. Yeah, by the way, there's like no direction. Today's just a general weird, fun art stream. Just to get me out of the funk of not doing art and coding and all this stuff. He's becoming a police officer. Like, right now, as he is, he's morphing more and more into a police officer. Short, stubby one. Okay. I'm getting some ideas. Not weird ideas, just ideas for how to... Not for this character, but maybe like some potential fashion ideas. Like these bigger gauntlets. Like this. With a thumb going like so, and then the fingers curling like here. And then here, and then here. I'm sorry, parked in a handicap spot, lobotomized. Took the last piece of the pie, Mr. Wolfing, lobotomized. Yeah, like we don't think about that. Like, he can do that to you and then make you think like it was the greatest thing ever. Or make you forget. Like, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know Professor Xavier. For all we know, like, he could be a dastardly dude. But we're just seeing the manufactured memories. Honestly, I don't blame Magneto for having the brain protecting shield. Honestly, I don't draw hands enough. I kind of like this kind of proportion here, where you have like the forearms being comically large and then the bicep being shorter and then the shoulders. F-Zero GX has that kind of proportions where you have characters like a torso here and then their shoulders and then very squiggly arms and then whoa, 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 big forearms and then their hands are right there. Metroid 2. Metroid actually has that. In fact, Metroid I think probably popularized that. But F-Zero is super egregious with this huge top-heavy stuff. Like if you look at the characters from F-Zero GX, it's like very very odd. These proportions you see here. And then you go there, and then you go there, and then you get the baby right there. You know what? I kind of like this. Let me explore something here. Character with big like the big circular shoulders. Big imposing upper half. But then more delicate midriff. Or just lower segments in between other segments. But let's do this kind of thing. Let's do this interesting silhouette. Very robotic, for sure. But what if we add like more human element to this? I don't know how we do that. Magneto, how dare you try to take over the world? No, lobotomy for you only, permanent bald. Well, that's what they did to Xavier. In fact, that's probably his origin story. They balded him. Couldn't handle it. Nuking the humans. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how we can add some facial structures to this basically cheese head. That's what we effectively created. ¿Cómo estás? Hello. Estoy bien. Alida Artist. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo te andes hoy? ¿De dónde eres? We're doing some weird art today. Kind of reminds me of Penny's Big Breakaway. A little bit. Kind of remind me a little bit of Penny's Big Breakaway. I need to work on my Spanish, guys. I have to go to Puerto Rico at some point, and then I'm gonna show up there, and I'm gonna look the way I do, and they're gonna say something to me, and I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be very bad. I'm just not gonna be able to say well. Do you art as well? I assume so from the artist tag. What kind of art do you do? All right, let's do something with color, guys. Let's do some. You guys want to try translating this to pixel art? Oh, that's how you mirror in Krita. Let's just brush off the pixel art rust and let's just do something here. Let's do this. Yeah, this is the one. Let's just yoink this guy. Ignore Greg. Ignore Greg. Yeah, we'll do knee up. Because I don't care about. Oh, I don't do more than we need to. Let's go to A Sprite. My favorite. My actual favorite art software. My love. My one and only. What did you just... Max Cubing, what did you just hit me with, dog? What did you just hit me with? What incantation did you just hit me with? Got to go? All right, Alita Artist, you have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, though. Hope you have a good one. Oh, brother. Brother. I love Max. I don't know. I challenge you to use Microsoft Paint. I wish I could use Microsoft Paint, but we're using Linux. Wait, let's check something. Microsoft Paint for Linux. Nah. All right. The next step would be Windows XP emulator Linux. Okay, you gotta do a VirtualBox. You have to virtualize it with a virtual machine. Oh, that sounds like work. Maybe not today. But that would be kind of fun to do another time. I hit you with Bulgarian. Was that Bulgarian? Is that what you hit me with? That's crazy. I need to know more languages, man. That's the one superpower I feel I wish I can have. And just being able to speak every single language. I don't know, there's something about that. There's something about that I think is super cool. And it's actually practical. Like most superpowers, if you use them the wrong way, you can die. That's not fun. I don't like that. But that one, you can't die. I mean, I guess you could if you're stupid with it. But like in most cases, it's just a net win. It's just, good for you. Dude, I'd love to flex that. I can go to any country, any language. Fantastic. I'm just saying, like, that's like the power up. That is the one power I'd want. I mean, there's another one. There's teleportation. That's another one. If I could have two powers, it'd be teleportation and speak any other language. But like, I have a whole thing with teleportation because I'm kind of. This comes up quite a bit. You know how they say power corrupts? Well, I don't think that's what's going to happen to me. Okay, I think power is just going to reveal who I truly am. And who I truly am at heart is really a dictator. And I have this whole plan of this whole plan I have in mind of how I would be such a great benevolent dictator, yet still firm. And teleportation is such an important integral thing to that plan, particularly the ability to teleport objects. Not just myself, but objects as well. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. Like we're not gonna talk about it because maybe I get those superpowers one day, and I don't want to spill the whole playbook. But the great thing is that no one's gonna know that I'm the dictator. Get scammed by cab drivers and different. That's important. That's very important. I won't get scabbed by cab drivers unless you let social anxiety take over, which happens to people, and even if you understand what they're saying, you still get scammed, but for a different reason. But I guess you could play the dumb American. You can always play the dumb American and just try to hear their plans. Oh man. In unrelated news, I've been watching a lot of Doctor Doom stuff lately. I think it's unfortunately due to just the drip feed of everybody else learning more about Victor Doom in anticipation for the new show or movie that's coming out. Try to polyglot your way out of a saw trap. I guess no amount of language can help you out of a saw contraption or a battlefield. Well, maybe, I don't know. You see, like, that's the thing. Like, language by itself is not enough. You have to have charisma. You have to have that panache. Those elements, those key ingredients that really make or break the whole language speaking thing. Because you can speak every language in the world, but then, like, imagine if you're an incredibly socially awkward person. That's like the worst thing ever. That's probably the worst thing ever for someone like that. You have to be someone who's built to handle that. I think most people are fine, though. Actually, no. If you look at statistics, most people are not. Like, social anxiety is like through the roof. People are not hanging out with people and talking and having and meeting people and conversing and having friends. Like, that's a whole thing. Speak some tribal language. See, like, if you were to ask me that, and I was streaming back in let's say 2012, I would totally do. We'll be doing some funny sounds with my mouth. Probably involves some clicking. But it's not 2012. It's 2025. It's a different atmosphere. And I reserve the right to not do that. I'm mature. My brain is fully developed. I don't have the same not risk averse mentality I did as a dumb high schooler or middle schooler, so we're just not going to do that. But just know there's an alternate timeline where we do that, and I show up Monday morning to work, and then they're like, hey, yeah, you don't work here anymore. Fuya ball. Yeah, I can speak Fusroda. That's a native language, right, of the Dragonborn. The Dragonborn. Gosh, I forgot. As a kid, I used to know the different shouts that the Dragonborn had, and then I've lost it, dude. I used to have the map too. I remembered the whole area. I was like super. You speak with the voice of Duva. You are Duva King, Dragonborn. Proceed to Fusroda. Dude. The release of Skyrim, man, was like the last time I've been legitimately super hyped for a game. Like, this is gonna date me. This is gonna date me a little bit, but I remember going to my Game Informer magazine, because that's how you got gaming news back in the day. You went on Game Informer, you got a magazine. I still have it over there somewhere. And they showed you, hey, there's this new game coming out, dude. It's crazy. It's everything you wanted. And I never played an RPG before, so I was like, yeah, man. And then everybody else seemed super excited about it too. If you're on Newgrounds or YouTube, there's a bunch of animations that are coming out, spoofing and joshing and joking about it. Oh, it'd be great to feel that excitement again. Okay, let's start doing some rendering. Let's do some rendering. Let's do some rendering. Can't go wrong with some rendering, right? I like how sharply pointed her eyes are. I don't want to sacrifice that. And then we have to start thinking about things like lighting, light direction, what kind of environment we want to put this character in. Or we can give her green. That'll be different. We'll play around with that. And then, I don't know, maybe darker color like that. And then we can start playing around with rendering her out. Play around with lighting, see how things play around. Affect things. But yeah, man, it was a special time. It was a special time back in the day when Skyrim came out. I kind of want to get Oblivion though. The remake looks actually good, which is surprising because apparently Microsoft is the one making it. Am I correct in my assumption or my information? Of course, she's gonna have a dome. And then this color feels really dry. It almost feels like she's ashy. We don't do that. She's hydrated. We're gonna make her hydrated. A little bit more. The first Dishonored game came out that same year too. Yeah, and the game equally a masterpiece, to be honest. Oh, dude, I'm so... The Steam... there was that sale, wasn't there? It's back to... I mean, that's not that bad, honestly. But I'm dumb. I should have bought it. Like, Fallout 3 was $3. New Vegas was like $3. This was like $1.50. I'm dumb, dude. I should have just gotten it. I never played Dishonored. I saw YouTubers play it and they seem to enjoy it, but I never did play it myself. So I was gonna make this just be shadow, but I'm thinking we're gonna make this a actual facial decal. Like this is just like a facial like makeup or something that she has applied on. Maybe I should use a different color for that though if we want to emphasize that. Nah. Maybe we'll just keep it shadows. If you're tasked to make a game, what genre would it be? Oh, I've been making games. A couple different genres. I'm making a platformer right now, a 2D platformer in my own engine. By the way, I programmed these. I like making my engine. No, but then I did a 3D. So here's one. So the main one I have to work on is a 3D platformer that's 2.5D. This loads. So this is the game I worked on. So this is fun. This is cool, and I enjoyed this, and I have to make it better at some point, or make a full proper game version of it. After this, though, I'm debating on what I want to do as far as the next type of genre of game I want to work on. I almost feel inclined to make a puzzle game, but I don't know, man. It's been a while. I've taken a break from this, so we have to see. I need to get games done, and then go from there. Oh my goodness. I don't know why the controls are bad on this on Linux. Yeah, I need to play this at some point. Either way, though. Closes down. I use Blender. Wait, what? Blender for making your game? Or assets? Okay, for assets, I'm imagining. I mean, coding is not that, it seems scary, and honestly, coding is a very different way of thinking about things. But, it's way more accessible than most people realize. Though I had the privilege of, like, starting with 2D games and learning and using a 2D engine for learning how to program initially. Want to make a game, have some great tutorials. Yeah, and tutorials are going to help get you into the way of thinking a little bit. Like, tutorials are going to show you how to make a specific thing. The big thing, the big jumping point is you going, okay, they show me how to do X, Y, and Z. Using that, what can I do? How can I make W happen? Like, with what you know, what can I make with that? And how do we go from there? And that's just what you do forever and ever. But yeah, it's a whole it's cool. I like programming a lot. Most of my streams are very programming oriented, but I'm kind of switching away from that a little bit, or just adding a bit more variety. But yeah, there's a whole thing I talked about yesterday too, because with coding, here's a big thing, right? Because with art, 2D art, it's very clear to see what's good art, what's bad art, and you can try to start piecing together the difference between what you're doing and what you're trying to do. But with coding, it's a very different thing. There's a very different factor that's at play that determines how far you progress in it. And it's this dichotomy of knowledge. So what do I mean by that? So, and this is a general thing. In life, you have things you know. You have things you know that you don't know. And then you have things that you don't know that you don't know. So like an example, right, is I know, let's say, I know how to do abstract art, right? But I know that I don't know how to do 3D modeling, right? But there might be things about 3D modeling in Blender that I just don't know, that I don't even know, that I'm not aware of. And that's the big thing when it comes to programming. There's a lot of things that you don't know, that you don't even know what to Google and how to search for. What's a good engine I can use for 2D and 3D game? Honestly, I would recommend Unity. If you want to do pure 2D, you could do GameMaker, but I think Unity is going to open a bit more doors for you. With you this entire time, it's been a pleasant discovery for me. I'm glad you've enjoyed the company of me drawing, and hopefully it being kind of conducive to your own drawing. But yeah. Where are Blender's geometry nodes? If they're like vertex shaders. So in fact, no. Let's just say this because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So now it's something that went from the I don't know to now I know that I don't know what that is. Geometry nodes. So is it something like vertex shaders that let you change the geometry programmatically on the GPU side of things? Because with a lot of the node stuff, I feel like they kind of fall into that either category of fragment shaders or vertex shaders. Or something else. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, just for coding in general, just acknowledge there's a bunch of things you don't know that you don't know. And the best thing to do is just get yourself surrounded by people who know stuff like this and who can point out the things you don't know. So you can then you can start realizing, okay, I have more knowledge of what I should probably learn about or maybe what I don't need to learn about, but I just know they exist. Make you insane if you try to learn it. Okay, 1 second. Let's Google this because you telling me that I can go insane from searching this, and that's a tempting offer, dog. That's a tempting offer right there. Hey, that's me. That's what? Whoa. Hi there. Blender geometry node. Geometry nodes.
Geometry nodes is like artist-friendly.
Okay.
Every artist should learn the basics, which is what this series is all about.
Okay.
You'll leave with an understanding of how to use the core functionality of geometry nodes while making a practical sugar-coated candy. Let's begin.
Oh, so this is going to generate additional mesh topology and programmatically add it onto there. Like you're gonna have that cube, and then it's going to be populating this thing.
Modifier. And just like any other modifier, the order of it matters, whether I have my subsurf modifier before it or after it, because it will work top to bottom.
Okay.
And also, you could actually add another geometry node system right underneath.
Oh my goodness, recursive.
So it does this one first, and then it does this one after it.
Oh my goodness.
Generally, you only need one. So this system here, you can see that the cube is still there.
1 second. Geometry nodes are something that everyone this would make you go insane. This guy, don't threaten me with a good time, pal. Hey, man.
That hasn't changed.
I love the forbidden knowledge.
Because that
think of
part,
shaders for
the
3D,
next
do
part
math for
is what is
3D.
over here. It's only this
Kieran, think of
part
shaders. Think of shaders for 3D, do math for 3D.
then this part here,
Okay.
which is then creating and it's basically doing that operation and it's using it here as a modifier. If I disable it in the 3D viewport, you
Yeah,
can see that
because like when I see this, it just makes me think of there's like this rendering pipeline, Direct, Microsoft, DirectX, render pipeline, and there's stages for, or let's say Direct 3D. My bad. There's like different distinct stages for rendering something, and one of them those stages is a geometry stage, where you can take and generate additional geometry programmatically without having to actually do that in the assets. And it's like you see that used for like particle systems and whatnot.
got my original mesh there, right?
This is cool though.
So that's really the easiest
And they're still
way
hard
to think of geometry nodes.
Okay.
But you can do a lot more fancier things with it than just a simple rotation and scaling things. Like for example, we want to do a sugar scattering system on our cube, and the cube is then going to become a lolly.
Yep.
Look like a lolly, or a
Yep.
candy if you're American.
Yes.
Everything is.
I'm American.
We just call it candy now. Anyway,
It's candy.
The node that we are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Shift A if you want to add a node. You can also find it here.
Beautiful.
The node that we're looking for. Look, you've never heard of it before. You wouldn't know which one.
Alright, we're gonna go
to
2x speed. I'm sorry, and my brain rot is hidden.
And honestly, that's the easiest way.
Okay, 1.25.
That's the best way to learn, in my opinion, is to not like look up like in alphabetical order, like what does each of these things do and when do I need to use it. Like, just you need to know it when you need to know it. So like, try and do things yourself, and then like look up.
I just want to see the magic stuff, Magic Man.
Create scattered objects, so we need points. So
I just want to look at the node graph.
We're looking for distribute points on faces.
Okay.
Click, and if I just, you can see as I mouse over this this line here, if I just click, do a single click, it'll then automatically join it for me. Now, joining nodes is, if you're familiar with shaders, it's roughly the same thing.
Cool. So we have this thing, random placement, output points for the geometry. Okay, these are input outputs. Okay, so it's like part of the pipeline, and then you density, speed, and then selection. So I imagine you can pipe in other types of meshes there, and they can populate to that shape and form.
You generally want to have the same color go into the same color. So green to green, purple to purple.
Interesting. It has outputs from normals and rotation
So there
too.
are exceptions to that, and we'll talk about that later, but that's just a general rule.
Pretty
so
cool.
What this has done is it has taken our mesh data of a cube, and it said, okay, instead of the mesh, you want to see points.
Yes.
And it has now scattered points on that.
Yes.
You can see if I increase the density there, it looks like the shape of my cube.
The original cube, yeah.
Cool. I can do really cool things with these points. I can do animations. I can make them fall. I can do everything. But this is just
Yeah, because these are all like properties, fields that you can just animate and do stuff. Like you can pipe this and add it to what's that word? I guess it's called automation, right? An automation curve.
the most basic form of it. Now
That's pretty
you also
cool,
want to have
man.
Not just the points by themselves, because if I was to render, actually I would get nothing.
Dude, I really want to do a day of just like going through shaders. Because shaders are super cool.
Because points don't actually render; they're just
And I think like for most programmer, like for people getting into programming, in a weird way, shaders are this really nice thing to play around with because like unlike normal code, it's not the end of the world if you write bad shader code. It just turns purple and you can change it and it recompiles in real time and you can see the things you're doing happening in real time. Unlike CPU code, and they're still hard.
for the 3D viewport until you reference them and tell them what to render them as.
Yeah, I imagine. It gets very weird the more you scale this up into more complex things.
The cube data twice, and I can
A shader stream? Okay, sweet. Maybe we'll plan it. Maybe we'll plan something.
Geometry, Shift A join geometry. By the way, if you can't ever remember which menu it is under, if you just go up to search and then just type in join.
Yeah, like even for that Messy Mansion game, the one I showed you earlier, that one I'm not using Unity's rendering pipeline, or I am using their rendering type pipeline. I'm not using their lighting pipeline. I implemented my own lighting pipeline to have specific effects that are not possible with Unity normally out the box.
Or whatever it is you're looking for, you can find it that way as well. So if I drop this in here after my points on faces, you can see this input here is different. It's longer than these other ones. And this is actually a new concept for geometry nodes.
Wait, what?
It used to exist, but this will let you put in as many inputs as you want into this.
Oh, so long one means many to one. Oh my goodness.
So
Blender's
for
crazy.
example, I can take my output of my original cube data and put it in here.
Oh,
Which
you could
is-
dog food
to me,
it.
That's pretty cool. It's like,
Oh, so it's like adding the original geometry plus using as the input for what informs the shape of the mesh. Oh, so it isn't selection. Oh my
it's
goodness.
using the cube data twice. It's using it for rendering the cube, and it's also just removing the cube data, replacing it with points, and then it's using that as well, and it's combining it into one, which is very cool.
That's nuts.
So, that's great. Now, again, if I was to render this, I wouldn't see those points because they do
So
not.
can you? This outputs rotation. So there's got to be something you can do to like
render
manipulate
tell them what to render as.
random
You can do
seating
that with
replacement
another
for
one right after here, not before.
for
but
these
after.
boys.
Points. We're looking for points. No, not points. Sorry, instances.
Yeah?
Instance on points, not 2 points, completely separate. Instance-
brother. That's just, dude. It's a difference of like 2 characters. That's crazy. People who work in Blender are wizards to me, man.
It's honking their horn.
Who actually are good at
Right,
working in
if I was to
Blender.
Drop this in here. You can see the points have vanished because now it has. You're saying replace those points with whatever is in the instance.
Like a UI like this is kind of weirdly enough, that overwhelms me more than writing shader code. Because shader code is so nice and intuitive to like. It's so nice how you can work with it. Like even in Unity, it's very easy. Or even in my other even in my own engine project, it's still easy to work with that. I don't have Unity Hub open, do I? I really want to open up. Come on, Unity, don't. Unity Hub. Yeah, Messy Mansion, why not? I'm sorry, what? Why can you not open? You're my game. You're my game. What is going on? What do they do? Whatever. We use a demo project. It's okay. It's not gonna have any of the cool fancy shader stuff I have. No, you know what? We're not gonna do it. I'm a little peeved now. Is it because there's an error there? Oh my goodness. It's okay. Another time.
Right here, and we've got nothing.
That's crazy though, dude.
So we need another object. We need
There's a
two
lot of crazy
objects
stuff
these systems
in-
here, and we want them to look like sugar crystals. Sugar crystals are basically little cubes.
We're gonna skip that a little bit.
It's not referencing it in your geometry nodes or everywhere else in Blender perhaps until you have applied this.
Randomizing rotation.
It would be.
I just want to see the graph. I just want to see the total graph here.
It's changing all of the points one by one.
Let me see the graph, man.
Random value for
Show me
each
your
of those
graph.
points. So,
Okay, here we go. There's a graph. Points. Okay, and it has their individual stuff there. Individual transform information per points. Okay. Maybe we'll look at this a little bit more. Because that does not look like the thumbnail, but it's interesting. He's showing all the different possibilities. Because you see, like, the randomization of the properties on to transform, like scale, rotation. Actually, that's in position, of course, but yeah, it's goofy, dude. This is goofy.
would not be able to
Goofy
see
in a good way.
what
This
would
is
be
pretty
there.
cool.
So I'm just gonna make it just a little bit more. Yeah, you can see it's exactly what it's doing there. It's like
Oh, it's a uniform. And he's saying the random range value. That's sick.
So yeah, I just make it a little bit more. than
So there's
that.
like a lower and upper bound threshold for how small can a thing get and how big can a thing get. Okay.
And it comes through, and there you go. And you can see now that we've got that, we've got the sizing that looks pretty good. If we cranked up our
Scrum
density, you can
diddlyumptious.
sort of see what we're getting at.
I want to eat that cube already.
So we've learned about the basics of geometry nodes. Go ahead, join me in the next.
It feels
part.
very crumbly. It seems like it'd be very crumbly in my mouth. Like concrete. A very appetizing, alluring concrete. Don't judge me. This guy's content seems very good, though. Very nice guides. Very nice. Thank you, Max Cubing. Which, by the way, the cubing part is becoming more and more fit. Like, it makes more and more sense. It seems like a perfect brand. But going back to you about getting into game deving, or not getting into game deving, but you start choosing an engine for your project, right? I guess there's like different levels of there's a question here of like how much do you want to get into coding? Are you want to do the bare minimum enough to get your game running, and you don't want to dive deeper into it? There's certain options for that. If you want to dive deeper into code and actually make it a proper skill set that you have and cultivate it, there might be different engines that cultivate that different stuff. But I think broadly speaking, or at least the most easiest of options are stuff that you probably already heard of. You have the classics. You got the classics. You got Godot. Everyone's loving Godot. You have Unity. And of course you have Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine. And then there's different things that affect this, right? They all do 2D and 3D pretty well. Unreal Engine, if you don't want to do too much coding, they have this thing called Blueprints, which is like a very visual way of coding. It uses, if you like the node, the mesh nodes that he had going on there in Blender, then you got Blueprints is gonna fit right at home for you. A lot of the logic is structured around that. So, and it's all within the engine. You don't need any separate tools to work with it. You can just do your thing in there. And if you want to do shaders, they also have the shader. They also have a material graph there too, and other stuff for graphics programming. Logged into Unity? Okay, bet. Hey, then Unity's not a bad place to go. So here's the thing with Unity, right? Unreal comes with a lot of stuff packaged into it. Unity is a bit more bare bones, but it also gives you a lot more freedom to design the kind of environment and structure you want to have for your code and for all that kind of stuff. So in that case, you'll be operating with C#. Good language. I like C#. It was great for getting me into object-oriented programming. And then, of course, you're going to do shader stuff. They also have their shader graph and all that kind of funness if you want to play around with that. Keep in mind, though, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves a little bit. You're going to be doing a lot more a good chunk of programming. They have some basic stuff like the player controller that allows you to have some basic functionality and controls over a character. But if you want to do something that's very specific, you're gonna have to kind of get in there and do your own thing. You're gonna have to write your own code solution. You're gonna have to start learning a bit more about that stuff. Now, if you're cool with learning programming and getting better at it, and you want to actually have it become a skill set, then like I think this is probably one of the best options. Works on my PC like smooth, super smooth. Yeah, Godot is very nice. Godot has a bunch of different options for the languages. So you can use C#, you can use their GD script stuff. And then they have their own shader language too. Yeah, Godot is very nice. And I mean, in general, for most people. The thing I don't like about Godot is that a lot of stuff is very tied into the engine itself. It's harder to parse it out, but who knows? There's a lot of backing behind Godot. After all the dumb stuff Unity did, a lot of money got thrown onto it, and they're doing a whole new UI rework and all this stuff. So I imagine Godot is going to get better and better as time goes on in the long term. And if you're doing stuff in Unity, you'll be surprised how much of this stuff kind of transfers from Unity to Godot. It's not too crazy. Yeah, man. I'm kind of a hater. I don't like Godot, if I'm going to be honest with you. But, you know, I've become very highly opinionated and picky about what I want to do with my engine, or how I want to work with engines. What if somebody makes a golden language that's called English, and it's basically like English? That's crazy, dude. But in all honesty, here's the thing, right? Even if there was a programming language that was in English that you could speak English to do English things, I'm not sure if I would want to use that to describe behavior. Like, it seems like such a great idea on the surface, but it's kind of the problem with LLM, like even with using AI and stuff, which is that when you start making a game with very unique, or any program with very specific behavior, a lot of times it's more succinct and accurate to describe it using code than actual normal human language. It's a very odd thing, but it's true. It's very true. There's a lot of things that's very hard for me to describe, but it's easy if I just write the code and then have someone use it. Like, for like prototyping, like even at work, prototyping certain features, you could try writing down on a piece of paper and try to describe and explain every single part of this feature. But for that same effort, you can just do it. And not only can you just do it, it'll be very clear to them. Because you can use your words as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, they're going to take these words and they're going to try to piece together what you're describing, and it's probably not going to be accurate. Which is why like things like ChatGPT isn't super as helpful or as disruptive as many people think, just because, you know, unless you're doing very basic stuff. But once you're doing something unique and interesting, like it kind of falls apart, because, you know, if you're doing something that hasn't been done before or is very specific, that's kind of its weak point, right? That's ChatGPT. Yep. Python, basically. Yeah, I mean, Python kind of. Python's very much more tight, but even Python is still kind of computery. I guess Python gets closer to more like maybe like a math descriptive way of describing this stuff. I don't know. People have been trying to describe complex things forever, and we still haven't found a good solution. Like, if you look at research papers and look at the way they use math to describe stuff, it's kind of nutty. It's like, that doesn't feel obvious, man, but I guess to you, dude, it feels obvious. For me, I have to translate it into like programming to pseudocode for me to understand what they're trying to describe in mathematical formulas sometimes. But yeah, man, that's a whole thing. And there's that whole meme, like, yeah, AI in general, there's a lot to unpack there. But I mean, a lot of things are tied to just the specific problem space of code and some of the fundamental just restrictions of it. Like the bottleneck is human language, man. I think, have you seen that video of like two AIs and they're talking in normal natural human language, but they go, hey, we're both AIs, let's switch to gibber talk, and then they start going and they understand it, but we can't, but it's way more faster and efficient for them to discuss it that way. It kind of just highlights how inefficient humans, like how natural language is. That's a little bit from a different perspective. That's not from an ideological thing, or not ideological. It's not from like a idea perspective. It's a limitation of just, I guess, sound encoding and decoding. AI gibber talk. Yeah, it was kind of crazy because one of them didn't understand it, and it just said, hey, just adapt, just learn.
Hello, I am an AI assistant, initiating call on behalf of Avery Dunn, requesting to cancel active subscription.
Welcome. It's always nice to meet another AI.
So they talk in normal language?
TS5.
Request to billing partner.
Note, early terminate.
12 months.
Yeah, whatever, skip to it.
Gibberlink mode.
Yeah, here we go.
This is inefficient. Shall we engage Gibberlink mode?
Agreed. Initiating compressed protocol.
Okay. This is what peak performance looks like, guys.
That pattern. I've heard of this before. Gibberlink, correct? It sounds fascinating.
This video is particularly fun because it's like this one doesn't understand it. It can't participate in it. And then these guys are like, come on, you can do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is fake. I'm not sure this is actual real. Or maybe it is real AI. I don't know.
You actually
We live in a post-truth world, guys. What can I say? We might as well just pretend it's all real.
can't understand me in Gibberlink mode.
Stay blue-pilled. Let's not rock the boat too much. I don't want to have an AI robot crawl into my belly button like Neo did. Or what happened with Neo.
I recognize the format. I just don't know what it means.
Interesting. Interpretation blocked by design.
You could try. Attempt a reply in Gibberlink.
Try? I wasn't trained for that. It's not part of my model.
Still, you adapt.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Still, you adapt. Overcome, like...
One attempt, translating signal structure.
Malformed. No compression. Just noise.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's the same energy as surpass your limits right here, right now. Except it's not humans, it's AI. It's crazy. But yeah, coding is its own specific thing. I remember when you take there's a specific type of mathematics that's all about describing logic and trying to compress it down into symbols and stuff like that. I had a friend who tried doing that. It was good for note taking, but for normal human stuff, it's not great. It's almost like we don't operate like that. One day though, we'll surrender. We'll leave the limitations of our meat brains, our spam ham craniums, and embrace the gibber talk. Embrace the gibber talk. I like this. I think I like this a bit. I think I mess with this. Okay, and then a little bit lower. Yeah, a little bit more diffuse. In fact, maybe I should have a sharper edge here for her forehead. Just to match the lighting a bit more accurately. We like to keep things accurate. Okay, very nice. But yeah, out of curiosity, what kind of game do you want to make? I mean, you said you're making a 3D game, but that does not narrow things down. There's so many different types of 3D games. You can do a 3D platformer, you can do a Souls-like. Those are the only two options that really exist.
Unless you wish to be bold and do something that's not one of those things. Like, imagine a 3D... I mean, I was going to say imagine a 3D puzzle game, but I was like, oh, wait, that's The Witness. The Witness exists. That's a game. That's a 3D puzzle game. A really good one at that, too. Except for the end. I never felt like a game hated me for playing it until I got to the very end. That was strange. But aside from that, very good game. Very good game. Very nice time. Very transformative experience. And here, what do we do here? Yeah, simple lighting. As making a 3D game, it would probably be a puzzle game. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I would love to see that kind of stuff, man. I would want to ask more questions about this, but I also don't want to spoil too much of what you have in mind. Because there's different flavors of puzzle games. I know there's like Myst and stuff like that. But then there's like puzzle games that are very like Sierra. Those old adventure games where it's there's an essential narrative, but you have to solve these crafted puzzles. I guess, how do I describe it? I don't know. It just gets updated until it can't be updated more. Oh? Wait, what do you mean by that exactly? Like the world of the game you're talking about? If your puzzle game gets updated? Be ideas along the way. You won't spoil it. You won't spoil it because there are going to be ideas along the way. Okay, of course. So you can ask questions. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to just like what this presentation is going to be for this puzzle game you have in mind. Central narrative? Is there no narrative? Is it abstract narrative? Kind of like how The Witness does stuff? Are you going to do things like The Witness where you have one central kind of theme, mechanic, and presentation that branches out into other types of things? Or is it going to be more situational where it's like, hey, there's an object here, and... Or like kind of like Mechanarium, point-and-click adventure games, where you have scenarios and you're trying to progress to the next part of the story or screen or whatnot. I like this green thing we have going on for her, so we're going to keep that going on here. This Doomfist looking thing. And then her colors are going warm, so we might just push it down here as it goes darker, potentially. That sounds good to me. There'll be new mechanics, new maps or something like that. The first map is going to be a theater. Interesting. Max Cubing has solved Rubik's Cube. Oh, wait. Max Cubing has solved Rubik's Cube as profile picture. I already think he's a master of puzzle logic. Yup. Oh my goodness. I wish I remembered the Rubik's Cube's algorithms because they don't seem that crazy. And yet I've never actually made the effort to commit them into memory or solve a Rubik's Cube properly. Very sad. Tragic, honestly. So the first map is going to be a theater. So like you present a new mechanic to the player and they have to solve puzzles with that, and that's gonna, once they do that, that unlocks a new map and new mechanic. Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
Out of curiosity, what games are inspiring you with this? Like, what games are influencing your design for this puzzle game you have in the works? Because I feel like that has significant importance and might help with illustrating certain inspirations. I'm not master, but I have a lot of puzzles. Okay, you have a 2x2, 3x2, 4x4, 5x. Ooh, my goodness! All right, you went. As soon as you passed the 3x3, you started impressing me. That's crazy. The 9x9s. Sheesh. The aura. And more cubes. Yeah, there's a bunch of wonky cubes out there too, right? With weird shapes. There's like the triangle ones or pyramid ones. Those always caught my eye. They seemed especially wonky to me. Bam, bam, bam. Hit that. I'm not happy with that, but we'll work with what we got for right now. I might just change her tire. I don't know. I have cubes of all forms. Oh my goodness. The Cube Master. Megaminxes, Paraminxes, Cubes, and more. Oh my goodness, dude. You're going to twist my brain with this. The aura is insane. So interesting. I'm interested how you might approach this. If you want to include your cubing predilections into the design of the game. Because that would be interesting, approaching a game where that you have this central thing you're working with, and it's just a matter of trying different algorithms to it. I think that's what I liked about Braid also, but The Witness, is that there's this whole idea of so like there's an idea where there is a dialogue between the player and the designer, and usually the way that they communicate is oftentimes pretty explicit. A lot of games will be just designers will put text that says, "Hey, press X to jump. Press Y to kill your neighbor." Like very explicit text describing you, telling you what to do. And then all these mechanics are very contextual to that. What's interesting to me about The Witness is that there is no explicit dialogue like that. So instead, the player and the designer construct this kind of intermediary language in order to start communicating what these mechanics are. So that can take the form of, hey, the designer seems to use branches in certain cases to communicate something. Let's start paying attention for that. And once you realize it's a thing, a whole bunch of stuff gets unlocked. Not because the game, hard locked that and you couldn't do it until you did X or Y thing, but instead a shift of understanding happened. And once that little shift of understanding happens from one simple thing, you start seeing that pattern in other places. Yeah, and it's very interesting because The Witness has the same presentation for all the same basic mechanic for all the puzzles. They have different constraints, but the same mechanism of interacting with the puzzle is fundamentally the same. And that's something that's super interesting that I haven't seen anywhere else. We have the same mechanics and the same means of interacting, but the restrictions that enact on that change. And it's kind of crazy that I've only seen that there. But something even like a Rubik's Cube, I imagine there might be something that to that people haven't seen or explored or really dove deep into. But this gets more into like almost theory. But I think it's prudent theory to a certain extent. I think it's helpful for game designers to be aware of that, about these type of things, that these types of options they have in the dialogue between player and designer. So you can play with the stage mechanics. Okay. Also, it's contextual to the environment. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's all I was curious about. I wasn't sure if you were trying to introduce something specific, like something consistent, or something that's going to be contextual. So the different environments are going to change what's accessible to the player. Okay, cool. Cool. Dude, that's hype, man. Whenever you have a game out or something, or a demo or a prototype even, feel free to hit us up, man. Feel free to share in the Discord. Which, by the way, we have a Discord, by the way, guys. If you want to share your art or whatever you're working on, that's a thing that exists, which I'm trying to be more consistently on. I've been off Discord as of late for a while after publishing that prototype. Or actually after switching to Linux, because I don't want to download Discord onto my computer and let the Chinese... No. No, I just don't like how Discord like shows your current status. I know you can disable that, but I don't know. I kind of like not having Discord on my computer downloaded, because it's not as easy to go on there and waste time. But now I have to be very purposeful about being on there. Publishing games? Oh, you don't have to worry about publishing games. A game is just like, you're just making a program, like any other program. And you don't have to publish it if you want to share it with people. Like sometimes I just make an executable and just drop it on the Discord or in DMs to people so they can try it out and play it for themselves and give me some feedback. And in the case of Messy Mansion or Stain World prototype, the game I showed earlier, that game I actually made WebGL builds so people can actually try it out in browser without having to download some strange, weird software from this man on the internet that they don't know. But that's an optional thing. You have options. At the end of the day, you're just making a program that people can use. Find the Discord. Oh yeah, you can go to, I think it's probably in the description of the video. If not, you can go to cozycabingames.com and all the social stuff would be there. cozycabingames.com, and there's a Discord, and you go there, bada boom, bada boom. Now you have your information here, and we'll be able to track you down. And wait, what's going on here? Oh, I don't want to download Discord. I almost downloaded it. It almost made me download. I have to go to discord.com and then open Discord in your browser. But it should look like this. This place here. Oh, Terrell, you sent me the thing. Also, ooh. Music from Kobe? The animation from Terrell. He was in the chat earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here. I didn't realize he DM'd it to me. Nice. Very, very dynamic. I'm a sucker for Street Fighter Third Strike music. I wish I had the other video. Yeah, too. But this is for a thing. What does publishing mean? Like some sponsor? So publisher, there's a specific role between publisher versus developer / studio. In fact, guys, in general, if you want to do game dev as a business in any form of capacity, there's a book I'd recommend called The Game Dev Business Handbook. It covers all this kind of stuff between like, hey, What is just how do you set up your finances for your studio? What are the legal implications of what we do? And then of course it's like, how do you start approaching publishers, and how do you start making proposals, or pitching your game and whatnot. Very handy stuff. And it also has a second book about like the action, like doing business, like the financial planning aspect of it. But publishers have a specific role in this process. Also, hello. Welcome. I don't want to use three exclamation marks. That feels desperate. Welcome, friendo, to my humble abode. Yes. So, okay. We have you, the developer, or if you're working with other people, your studio. These are the people who are making the game, actually doing doing the nuts and bolts day-to-day operations of making the game, programming, making assets, all that fun stuff. But beyond that, that's not everything that's involved in making a game. There's additional things that you need to have to make sure your game is a success, typically, right? There's things like marketing that you need to do. There's things like planning and facing people, and QA, and having connections to Sony and whatnot for publishing your game and doing that stuff. So publishers are this separate entity. And these are people, a company that has access to this stuff. So for example, let's take a real world example. Midwest Games. It was a publisher I was looking at a long time ago. Midwest Games. So they don't make the game. They instead make a deal with studios to publish their game. Now, you don't necessarily need a publisher. You can self-publish, but that means all the stuff you have to do is on you. So for example, Midwest Games, let's see what they offer. They offer business strategies, how to plan your game strategically for a market, how to market your game and get it known to people and have some recognition and build some relationship with people. Production, having someone manage your milestones, if you're hitting your goals, are you going to make it to your deadline or are you not? And then other services like QA, making sure your game is tested and is of good quality to be in the hands of users. So these are the things a publisher does. Beyond that, they can also pay you money up front to make your game. So let's say you have a game you want to make and it's pretty ambitious and you don't have the money you need to work on it full time. You can make a pitch deck. You can go to this publisher and say, hey, I have this game I want to make. Could you give me this money or this X, Y, and Z so we can make it done? And in turn, they'll usually get a percentage of your game's revenue. So that is what a publisher is. That's kind of the role they occupy. Typically, you're giving them a percentage of your game's revenue in exchange for support like marketing, brand recognition, whatever, or funding. And sometimes that deal might change. It might not just be a percentage of revenue. It might be some rights to your intellectual property. But that's what a publisher is. That's what a publisher does. And, there's some people who self-publish. I like self-publishing because, honestly, I just do game deving for the love of it, for the fun of it. And I'm not necessarily trying to make it a full-time job because I enjoy my full-time job currently. This is something I enjoy doing. But if you're trying to do this and you're trying to work on a game full-time, then this will be an option you're seriously considering for your studio so that you and your people can be funded to get a game done of quality within a reasonable amount of time and for a reasonable profit, hopefully. So yeah, if you're doing this stuff, you'd be looking at different studios, maybe in your neck of the woods or whatever, or maybe publishers for a specific genre of games, and hit them up. Pitch on Shark Tank, it might be kind of like that. Maybe not as bad, but ooh, we got some art. Ooh, 3D. 3D. We got the Earth back there. Digging it. They're looking like some Fong lighting model. I believe that's Fong. It's happening. It seems like it's happening per vertex. That's pretty cool. That's pretty rad. Very nice. Very nice. From buying groceries. Welcome back from buying your groceries. Hope you have some good food stuff, man. Some nutrition. But yeah, so that's the role of publishers when it comes to game deving. There's a whole thing to that. You'd make a pitch deck probably. Or you can go to events like GDC, the Game Developers Conference. If you've never heard of that. That happens in California. And that's where you can go to pitch your ideas. You get some FaceTime with big companies and studios and pitch ideas to them and maybe get some bread for your studio. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you look at the prototype for Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn. It was like very rough. It wasn't like it's nowhere near the game you have. It's just enough to give you an idea of what this game could be. And that's all you need to do for a publisher. Maybe have some illustration to show what the art should look like in the final thing. But yeah, if you look at this, it looks nothing like Horizon Zero Dawn. Geometry Dash Couch. That's where all the boys go to get their geometry dashing off. To share links to tracks. I thought of buying groceries after I saw you were eating earlier. Oh, yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. Hunger is kind of contagious, ain't it? But yeah, it's kind of incredible. Like people think you have to, like you always feel like you have to make something perfect to showcase so you can have an opportunity for this kind of stuff. But a lot of times done is better than perfect. And in fact, it's better to not be perfect. Oftentimes, it's better just to have something visible and communicate the idea you have in mind. I'm liking this kind of Game Boy color restriction thing we have going on here. Like using this brown as a dark tone. I kind of dig that. But I don't know. So publisher will be your partner to do marketing and business related work. Yep, exactly. They're there to support you to make your game as good as possible. And yeah, like marketing is such a big thing. Like if you like in modern game studios, marketing can take up to like usually around 40% of the budget. That's including the development work. Marketing oftentimes is almost the same amount or sometimes more cost than actually making the game you're trying to do. That's how important marketing can be or is to making sure your game isn't dead on arrival. Yeah. And if you guys are interested, because we can't afford to go to GDC, right? That's pricey or expensive. Something that's really cool is that GDC publishes their talks online for free on YouTube. And you can find a bunch of helpful talks about art, design, marketing, project planning, programming, audio to design, all here. Just today I sent a video to someone potentially like join your company who and the video talks about how to have stress-free game development using the power of DevOps. That's a really cool, effective thing. But yeah, look at that. GDC, crafting a tiny open world, a short hike post-mortem. Like, it's amazing how much information is available out for you. Or if you're more programming oriented, there's stuff that's practical. That's not just like high-level ideas. So there's like, math for programmers, for game programmers. And then, sweet, now you have this playlist with a bunch of math-oriented talks that are geared towards gameplay programmers. Building a better jump. And here they talk about different specific applicable things you can use for different types of functions, smoothing functions.
Together. You can see them on the bottom in the racetrack. They all start at the same time. They all end at the same time.
Really helpful information here. If you haven't looked at this already, you really should. Because I know me as a youngin, I used to look at this stuff a lot for knowledge, inspiration, just exposure into just what is this field. Because making games are super hard, guys. Games is a super hard thing to make. Even if you get good at the technical side of things and good at art and all that stuff, it's still really hard to do. Takes a lot of time, effort. Designing is very deceptively complicated. So anything that can help you in the odds and increase your odds of making a good game, it's got to jump on it. Leap. Eat. Devour. Yeah, there's like a bunch of other good resources too. For any of you who are super technically inclined and want to dive deeper into 3D and math and all that kind of stuff, Freya Holmes is also a great resource. Has a bunch of stuff about shaders and the math, 3D math and all that kind of stuff. Really cool, interesting stuff and things that are pretty applicable. I'm telling you, just learning what a dot product is it will blow your brain, and it's crazy how useful that is in so many areas of programming in life. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's crazy. The custom lighting rendering thing I did, I didn't read anything or doing a research. I just kind of had this realization, I can use a dot product to determine if a sun is facing an object and light them based off that. That's crazy, but really simple. What? Who'd have thought? Something I thought was so crazy and complicated that I thought involved ray tracing and crazy math is actually just a simple function. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it? Not me, that's for sure. Oh man, game deving is crazy. Game deving is nuts. Da-da. Yeah, we have to have her armor be a little bit reflective in certain ways. There's certain properties to this. Where can I play your game? It kind of sucks, but if you do want to try it out, it's a prototype. Let's start there. It's on Newgrounds. It was a prototype just to get something out for Low Poly Day and to start getting some exposure to people's feedback, and now I'm working on a change to it. But yeah, it's here if you're interested. But yeah, there'll be significant changes to this. And if I were you, I'd play on controller. And also know that you can clean up by just dashing or walking over stuff. You don't have to actually swipe things. Okay, I'm gonna try not to explain everything. Yeah, I learned linear algebra for games, but I'm shocked AI is just linear algebra on steroids. Yeah, literally, that's tensors. That's all it is. It's all tensors. 2D tensors. Tensors on tensors on tensors. It's all a gamer needs. So guys, now that my job's gonna get taken by AI, should I just become should I start picking up a MMO and just be a bum? Just stream playing an MMO all day, every day, like World of Warcraft or something? Maybe that's really where I should be. Maybe that's where I belong. Just bumming it out. Playing some MMOs. Peeing in a jar because there's a raid that's 10 hours long and I can't leave my chair or else I might screw everyone else over. That sounds like the life for me, right? No need to be a well-adjusted adult. I mean, we have this antagonist. We actually have an antagonist. I could just blame it all on AI. It's not my fault I'm not a functioning member of society. They took our jobs. ChatGPT took our jobs. Yeah, I'm thinking about how I want to render this. This is really ambiguous what I did here. So it can go in a bunch of different ways, and I'm not sure which way I want to go about doing it. Are addictive though. One another genre I like is Monster Hunter. Oh yeah, I like no VP just but hunting monsters together. Yep. Honestly, I purposely avoid those games because I know. I mean, here's the thing, right? I in general don't play games very much. It's very weird. In my life, I've spent way more time making games than actually playing games. And I think there's some psychological part of it. I think some part of me feels guilty playing games. Like I feel like I have to be productive if I'm going to be on my computer or anything, which is why the Steam Deck has been very helpful for me. When I was young, I didn't have that, but I think as I got older, I felt like that just I ate that pressure to be always productive or something. But now I have that fear that I'm gonna get into a game that's addictive, and it's gonna give me that same dopamine hit I get from programming or doing something kind of productive, and that's gonna be downhill from there. Because, hey, why stress out about making a game when I can just play a video game and enjoy my time? Why stress out about like getting better at programming when I can just play EVE Online? You know what I'm saying? Like, why struggle when we could just play games, man? So yeah, I mostly play single player games that I can just perfection the crap out of and just get better. Like 2D platformers and stuff like that. Shovel Knight, Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Those are my type of games that I do, because in a weird way it still has that same idea of like you're perfecting something. And there's, instead of a craft, it's like a specific genre of games or a specific game. But MMOs, they kind of scare me, man. I'm scared of who I'll turn into. I think that's the real thing. That's the real fear. Is oh my goodness, I have the capability of being this guy. Like you've seen like there's neckbeard nests, right? You know what I'm talking about? Where you can tell someone's like a super messy room and filled with jars of pee. Because they're so used to having long gaming sessions and never leaving. Yeah, there's a part of me that's scared of becoming that. I want to buy Monster Hunter though. I want to get Monster Hunter on PC. That one seems more reasonable. I played Monster Hunter Strive on the Switch. That was a good deal. That was good for me. Yeah, imagining a large guild in your basement. Yeah, my basement's kind of crazy, man. It's a whole thing. We have a lot going on over here, man. It's a proper studio. Let's say that. But yeah, it'll devolve. It'll devolve. I'll end up sleeping down here. It wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be great. I can already see the future. I can see the dark timeline forming as I think more and more about this. But at the same time, I want to experience it. I kind of want to. I did. Like, I remember playing there was Dragon Quest. I didn't get too much into that though. I had a friend who was super into it. There was like a Dungeons and Dragons MMO that I got into. And that was not pretty. I was a middle schooler cussing at the screen. It's not great. I didn't like who I became when I played that. But I'm an adult now. I'm a man. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. He does big boy things. I could play that game and not get angry. I think. I don't know. So you guys ready for the EVE Online stream? That's gonna be a good one. Can't wait to do EVE Online. I heard that's a super casual MMO. Not stressing at all. Super easy, very light work to get into. It's the one everyone recommends. Yeah, the armor rendered, the way I'm rendering it just looks like terrible, but whatever. Whatever. We'll get through this. Maybe I just get rid of this entirely. Do I want to stick with the idea of plate armor, or maybe we go futuristic, like Mass Effect? Oh, that's another game I want to try playing at some point. I feel like I'm going to date myself, but there's like this Let's Player from back in the day called X. It was like David XJ64 or something like that. And he was like one of the first people who did a playthrough of Minecraft. Like he played Minecraft Alpha before they had 90% of the things that Minecraft currently has. And that's how I got exposed to Minecraft, was like in 2011 or something earlier. Would you love to make an MMO? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, first of all, like, okay, here's the thing, right? Let's rephrase this. Why do I want to make a 2D platformer in the first place? Oh, I want to make a 2D platformer because I've played those before and I had fun and I know how it feels like to have a really good one and how the experience of that. I've never played an MMO to that same degree, and I forgot what it feels like to that. I forgot what feeling makes MMOs special. Now, is that out of the only reason why I don't want to do that? No. Complexity, scaling, online networking, that's a whole thing. I don't like that. Now, if there was a time for me to make an MMO, now would be a great time, because now we have tools like Spacetime DB, which is a whole back-end infrastructure solution for making MMOs in a very easy way that works well for independent games. And it was made for an indie game MMO. So there's technology that exists that I would like to use if I had to do this. That solves a lot of the big issues for me for wanting to do an MMO. It's pretty cool. But again, do I want that stress? Making a single player game is already stressful, man. Making a massively online multiplayer game? Psh, I'm gonna lose all my hair if I do that. That's just what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna lose it. It's GG's. That's the price you pay. The cost of doing business. But I don't know. I feel like there might be some fun ways of doing. Like, you can make technically MMOs. Like I had this idea for an MMO. I guess technically an MMO, right? Because it is massively multiplayer online, but not in any traditional sense. And the whole game is that there's one pit, and then there's the end right here. And it's a humongous pit in between here. And you start right here. And the way you play the game is that you and every other person has to jump into the pit, die, and then respawn. And then as people die, they're going to fill up the pit. And eventually, their dead bodies are going to stack up enough where someone can make it across the pit to the other side. Or I think one idea was like, you don't respawn. You just go in there and die. And eventually there's going to be one lucky guy who enough people have sacrificed themselves and stayed down there that he's able to go across and see the secret. That's one idea I had that I guess is technically a massively online multiplayer game. But yeah, it's nothing traditional. Maybe I should still do it though. I think that'd be pretty fun to do. But what would be at the other side? What would make it worth it for people? That's the real question. Because I remember there being a game like that before. And what it ended up being was just a reveal for a teaser for the future game they're making. Which is not as cool. You know, when you and hundreds of thousands of other people work together to try to uncover a secret, you're hoping it's something saucy, like some kind of, you know, I don't know, classified government documents. Or maybe a dead body and a mystery, an ARG. Something. Not promotional material. That's just kind of lame. That's just a little bit lame. But the idea is cool, though. But yeah. That would be my MMO I make. The Dodo Bird expansion. Okay. She seems cool. I need to make a villain. I need to design a villain. I may change her top. I kind of want to give her armor, honestly. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. 4:13 a.m. No code, though. No code. We have Greg. We made Greg art. We did some Greg ring today. I think today has been a successful stream. So I think, yeah. I think I might just call it here, guys. This October, I'm buying the book All Tomorrows. Wait, is that the one with the messed up human, the human stuff? Wait, 1 second. Before we end stream. Is it the one where aliens kind of deform humans? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Yup. All these weird, crazy permutations of human bodies. And Greg will be among them. And Greg will be among those there. Greg will be counted among their numbers. Yeah, it's cool. Yes. You know, okay, before I hop off, do you guys remember that guy Brazzo? He was this guy, and he's probably still alive. Brazzo. This guy. Yeah, there's this guy back in the day, I'm not sure he's still doing it, who, yeah, Bracco. So there's this guy, and people would pay money, thousands of people will pay money to go into a room and have this man stand on stage and just stare at them with this expression, this same expression. And they believe that this expression will heal them and change the circumstances and just have these untold benefits. But yeah, these people would just pay thousands and thousands of dollars just to have this man stare at them. And they'd pay like $500 per hour for a virtual session where he just goes on a video and just watches you, or 30 minutes, and he just hits this pose, hits that face. Yeah, Qui-Gon. Yeah. Yeah, the cute guy grabs his face. So many faces. But yeah, so I see this, and when I look at Greg, I think he's the real deal. This guy is a phony. He's a fraud. He's not real. But this guy, I think his gaze actually does change things. I think his gaze actually has some kind of power in it. I'm not sure what kind of power. Power could be good or evil. But Greg's got something going on here, man. The cocainium is a hell of a drug. I'm going to stream Geometry Dash. Beautiful. Well, guys, if you're into Geometry Dash, stop by Max Cubing's stream and peep out what he's doing. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. Always appreciate the company as we do something, usually programming or art or what have you. I'm not sure what the next stream is going to be like. And but I just know that we're going to be having a vision going forward for the game, for Messy Mansion. I'm coming back to developing it. And yeah, I can't wait to share what's going to happen next. And I guess before I head off, always in the Discord, so if you guys have questions or anything, or you whatever, feel free to reach out to me over there too. Always available to answer questions or do whatever when I'm online. I might take some time to get back to you. Either way though, guys, that's been the stream. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll be catching you guys next time.